Welcome to Bible Bites, everyone. I'm Pastor Dan, and we are reading through the Bible one small bite at a time. We're beginning Matthew chapter 24 today. Let's go ahead here, verse 1. Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him the buildings of the temple. This temple complex is the one that Herod built, and it took many years. It was like a wonder of the world. It was a pretty impressive complex. And the disciples are pointing it out. And of course, the Jews used this temple quite a bit as a place of worship. But it was also used by others, by Gentiles as well. There was actually a court called a court of the Gentiles in the temple complex. But he answered them, You see all these, do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. So Jesus is telling them the temple is going to be completely destroyed. We know from history that in AD 70, that temple complex was completely destroyed. In fact, it was so destroyed that one stone was not left upon another. So that's Jesus' prophecy, and of course that was fulfilled. Now this prompted a question from the disciples. Verse 3. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, his disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us when these things will be. I think they're referring there to the temple and when its destruction will be. And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? So they do not have God's timeline clear in their mind. Like they don't understand it clearly. Neither do we. We don't know God's timeline clearly. We know that there is a fulfillment of when all things in heaven and earth are united in Jesus Christ. So we understand that there's a fulfillment of them. We also see in Scripture that the apostles, and it really appears Jesus understands it this way as well, that the end of the age is really from Jesus Christ all the way through today and continuing until the fulfillment of everything. So this is all the considered the end of the age. It's a long ending, right? But I think that's important for us to understand. So let's see how Jesus responds here. Jesus answered them, verse 4. See that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. We know that many act as though and say they understand God's timeline, right? They put dates on the end of the age. They say, here's the end of the world. Here, this is when it's going to happen. We also know that many come saying that they are the Christ, that they are God's anointed one. That happened back in the day of the apostles. It happens today also. All right, verse 6. And you will hear of wars, rumors of wars. See that you're not alarmed. This must take place, but the end is not yet. So war always creates anxiousness in our hearts. It also tends to mess with the economies of the world. And even today, as this video is being made, there's war between Russia and Ukraine, and again, it creates just this kind of anxiousness is the word I use, but people want to say, "Oh man, the end of the world is now coming. There's going to be another world war. It's done." But Jesus is saying, like these wars and these rumors of wars, that's not the end yet. That's not the sign that the end is like imminent. That it's just about to happen, like the fulfillment of everything. Verse 7: For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there's going to be famines and earthquakes in various places. So there's going to be all these, natural disasters, and again, just skirmishes and conflict between nations. All this stuff is going to happen. And Jesus says then in verse 8, all these are but the beginning of birth pangs. So you think about a woman in labor, that can be a fairly long process. And this is just the beginning. This is just like all these things that are happening are just like birth pangs, right? Maybe like even false labor. It's not actually happening quite yet. So these all those things are not signs of that the end is imminent. We should not regard those as signs. That is what Jesus, I believe, is telling us here. Let's go ahead and stop there, and we'll pick up in verse 9 next time. But what happens is so many take these passages of Jesus and they say wars, rumors of wars, natural disasters, all the things that are happening in the world. They look at it and say, wow, the end is imminent. It's just about to happen. But Jesus is actually saying the opposite here. He's saying, no, those are not signs that the end is imminent, right? Those things have to take place. They're all a part of it from the beginning of history right down through today, and they'll continue to be a part of this world until the fulfillment of all things in Jesus Christ. Until next time, be blessed.